The Audi Q2 was launched into South Africa a little over 12 months ago, and we've been lucky enough to spend a year with one for one of our long-term tests. Driving that car for the year is our deputy editor, Terence Steenkamp. Terence, how are you doing today?
Well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. So here in bright orange is the 1.4 FSI Sport. What are your first impressions in terms of styling for the car?
I love the styling. I really love it in this coral orange. It really stands out on the road, and it distills all those big Audi design cues into a small, compact, taut package. It certainly looks to me unlike anything else on the road. I've heard people saying, oh no, it's a fancy polo, especially from the back, but I think it looks great. It's distinctive. People certainly notice it, especially combined with these optional 19-inch wheels. They make a big difference.
And have you decided whether it fits in as a small crossover or a large hatchback?
Well, the problem here is, so Audi's got an A3 Sportback and Audi has a Q3. This fits somewhere in the middle in terms of price, but it certainly doesn't have the Q3's practicality, and it certainly doesn't drive as perfectly as the A3 Sportback. So I'm a little bit confused. It looks like a crossover. It certainly sits as high as a crossover, but it doesn't have a lot of space inside.
One thing we have to get out of the way, first of all, is something that stood out for everyone at the office, and that is the Q2's price.
Yes, so this 1.4T FSI Sport S tronic model is 529,500. The car you see here is closer to 690. It's got various options on it. Some you can see outside, like the wheels I mentioned earlier, a lot of toys inside, a lot of them unnecessary in my opinion, and that's the point of a 12-month test, to give our readers proper advice on which options you can choose, which you should rather leave on the option sheet.
Right, well then let's take a step inside and see what options we have to work with here.
Right.
So the first point of contact you have with the Q2 is obviously with regards to its perceived quality. Well, how has that held up over the past 12 months?
Do you know what, when we tested this car at the beginning of last year, we were a little bit critical about some of the plastics, especially on the doors. But this car has over 20,000 k's in the clock, and it's held up incredibly well. This dashboard does not have a rattle or a squeak, and it just feels bank vault solid. It's brilliant. The quality is, to me, is class leading.
Do you think that the interior space sort of complements that?
In front, there's a lot of space, there's a lot of headroom, especially if you get into the back, it's not the case.
We were talking about the options, so what are the key options that were fitted to this car as extra?
So this one has Audi's MMI navigation system coupled with virtual cockpit. The problem is you can't have the virtual cockpit without getting the 22,000 Rand sat-nav system. This one has an upgraded Audi sound system. You can also get a Bang & Olufsen one. At 4 grand, brilliant value for money. Yeah, I definitely get that. Otherwise, I would keep the car standard. It comes out decently spec'd as it is, and you have that price issue.
So this car comes with 2 engine variants. Do you think that the 1.4 TFSI is the one to go for?
Do you know what? If you're going to go out on the highway more often, drive longer distances, I would get it. I had a brief stint in a 1 litre as well, which is the entry-level one. And if you're going to use it in an urban environment like we're in now, I would think quite carefully about upgrading to the 1.4. I don't think it will necessarily be a good decision. This, however, the 1.4 in this 110 kilowatts, 250 Newton meters, cylinder on demand technology, it's got quite a lot of punch. We tested the 0 to 100 at less than 10 seconds. So if you want the full premium experience, which this car aims to give you, perhaps then go for the 1.4. Personally, 1 litre.
Okay, so a very important part of the test is obviously the service experience.
Yes.
So how was your experience with the Q2?
So this car went in for its 15,000 k service at Audi Centre Cape Town, and it was a bit of a disappointing experience, to be honest. Certainly not the premium one you'd expect when you drive an Audi. And we had 2 issues on the car throughout its term, tiny little issues, but I asked them to address those. The passenger window squeaks when you roll it down, and the MMI system kept dropping my phone's Bluetooth connection. So they couldn't sort the window. They claimed there was some sort of protective film on there, and that was causing the issue, which there wasn't. And they never unearthed what the problem was with the Bluetooth connection. Aside from that, it was okay, but I expected a bit more on a premium priced car.
Terence, so the person who's thinking about going out and buying a Q2, what should they take away from your 12-month review?
The fact that this car has been light on fuel, it's been reliable, it was a pleasure to drive, especially in an urban environment. It looks great. I think it looks stunning. It really is a great looking thing. And it's a real pleasure to drive. It's one of those cars that almost fade into the background because it's so well resolved, nothing annoys. The market will prove what resale value is, but generally Audis on the cheaper end of the spectrum hold on to their value extremely well. If you think of A3 Sportback and A1. I would go and test drive the 1 litre as well, just to make sure. If you don't need the extra power, save yourself that 40,000-50,000 Rand. You can spend that on a few nice extras, and then you've got a great little crossover.